Good evening. Tonight, we delve into the complex reasons behind French President Emmanuel Macron's decision to deploy troops in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Macron, known for his diplomatic prowess, finds himself as a mediator in this crisis, a role that carries significant weight and implications on a global scale. The decision to send French soldiers to Ukraine was not taken lightly. It was the culmination of rising tensions, geopolitical chess games, and a growing threat to France's global dominance. The catalyst for this move can be traced back to the commencement of the Ukraine war in 2022, a conflict that has since spiraled, pulling in nations and their respective agendas. As the war unfolded, the Russian Federation, in response to Western, NATO, and American involvement, began to seek new alliances to counteract the sanctions imposed upon them. This led to an expansion of Russian military forces into French colonies in West Africa, notably the Sahel region. The result was a series of military takeovers and the overthrow of French-backed governments, an affront to France's influence and control in the region. With the perceived French weaknesses exposed and Russia's influence growing, France found itself at a crossroads. The standing of the French Empire, they believed, hinged on their ability to defeat the Russian Federation. This was not just about preserving influence, but also about maintaining the economic benefits derived from these colonies. The fear set in. Without these benefits, France could face a potential collapse. In the face of these challenges, Macron made his decision. French troops would be deployed to Ukraine, a move seen by many as a direct response to the threat posed by Russia. But this decision, laden with complexities and potential consequences, raises more questions than it answers. As we navigate this delicate situation, we find that the standing of the French Empire hinges on their ability to defeat the Russian Federation. To understand the gravity of the situation, we must turn our gaze towards the Sahel region in West Africa. This vast, arid stretch of land has become a focal point of international intrigue and power play. As a response to Western, NATO, and American involvement in the Ukrainian conflict, Russia sought to extend its reach and influence. A key part of this strategy was to forge new alliances and expand its military forces into regions where it could counteract the sanctions imposed upon it. The Sahel region of West Africa, a long-standing French colony, became an attractive proposition for this expansion. A region rich in resources and strategic importance became the new frontier for Russian military advancement. The result was a swift and dramatic shift in power dynamics with the overthrow of French-backed governments. This effectively facilitated the increase of Russian influence in the region, a move that directly challenged French authority and dominance. This change in power dynamics was not an isolated incident, but rather a part of a broader pattern. Observing perceived French weaknesses despite their involvement in the Ukrainian conflict and sanctions, West African colonies saw an opportunity for change. They welcomed this increased Russian military influence as a counterweight to the long-standing French control. But what does this mean for France? The implications are significant. French authorities are under no illusion that their standing as a global power is under threat. Their empire, built upon centuries of colonization and control, now faces an existential challenge. The defeat of the Russian Federation is seen as a crucial step towards maintaining their influence over the Francophone countries they have historically colonized and continue to economically exploit. The fear for France is not just the potential loss of influence, but also the economic power derived from these Francophone countries. The wealth of these nations, largely siphoned off to support the French economy, is at risk. Without the economic benefits derived from these nations, France could face a significant economic downturn. This is the reality that underpins the French engagement in the Ukrainian conflict and motivates their strategic decisions. Now let's question the effectiveness of France's direct involvement in the Ukraine war and NATO. In the grand chessboard of geopolitics, every move matters, and France's decision to engage directly has sent ripples across the globe. However, one must consider the limitations of French military size and public opinion. The French forces, while highly trained and equipped, are not among the largest in the world. This is a significant factor when going up against Russia, a country known for its vast military resources. Moreover, public opinion within France itself is not unanimously in favor of this direct involvement. A war-weary public, mindful of the costs and consequences of conflict, may not fully support a prolonged military campaign, further challenging the government's decision. But it's not just about numbers and public sentiment. It's also about the changing global landscape. We're seeing a shift away from traditional Western alliances. More countries, particularly those with historic grievances against colonial powers, are turning to Russia and China as alternatives. This shift, fueled by perceived unfair economic policies and the lasting impact of colonial history, is reshaping the geopolitical landscape. France's engagement in the Ukraine war, while symbolically significant, may not have the desired effect of curbing Russian aggression or altering the course of the conflict. In fact, it could potentially exacerbate tensions, drawing in more players and escalating the situation further. In the end, it's a sobering reality. Despite their engagement, the report suggests that France lacks the independent military capacity to win the war against Russia. It's a stark reminder that in the game of geopolitics, the stakes are high, and the outcomes are often far from certain. In the face of these challenges, what does the future hold for France and the Francophone world? As we delve into the future projections, we must consider the insights of military experts and scholars. These perspectives, woven together, paint a grim picture for France's position in this conflict. The consensus? France is likely to lose the war. Why, you ask? A multitude of reasons. The French military, though formidable, lacks the sheer size and might to stand alone against Russia's armed forces. Moreover, public opinion in France is divided, with many questioning the wisdom of direct involvement in the conflict. But the implications of this projected loss extend beyond the battlefield. A defeat for France could trigger a further erosion of its influence in the Francophone world. This influence, maintained through economic ties and political sway, has been a pillar of France's global standing for centuries. But as Russia and other powers emerge as alternatives, Francophone nations may begin to question their allegiance. The potential economic repercussions for France and Europe are also significant. Francophone countries contribute substantially to France's economy, and a shift in their allegiances could disrupt this financial lifeline. If France's economic benefits from these nations decline, it could send shockwaves through the European economy, leading to instability and uncertainty. Furthermore, a French defeat could reshape the geopolitical landscape, signaling a shift in global power dynamics. It could embolden other nations to challenge long-standing norms and alliances, further destabilizing an already volatile world order. As we conclude, it's clear that the consequences of this conflict will resonate far beyond the borders of Ukraine and France. The ripples of this conflict will be felt globally, affecting not just the nations directly involved, but also those on the peripheries. The world watches and waits as the future of France, the Francophone world, and indeed the global order hangs in the balance. In conclusion, the intricate web of global politics and power dynamics has far-reaching implications. We've delved into the multifaceted reasons behind French President Macron's decision to deploy troops in Ukraine, highlighting the significant threat Russia poses to the French Empire and its global dominance. We've explored how the unfolding conflict in Ukraine has led to an expansion of Russian military influence in French colonies in West Africa, particularly the Sahel region. This has resulted in military takeovers and the destabilization of French-backed governments. Furthermore, we've discussed how these developments have spurred France into action, with the belief that their standing hinges on their ability to counteract Russian influence. A loss in this geopolitical chess game could have severe economic repercussions for France, stemming from potential losses of influence and economic power derived from its Francophone countries. However, we've also questioned the effectiveness of France's direct involvement in the war. Despite their engagement, the report suggests that France is unlikely to alter the course of the conflict significantly. The changing global landscape, with more countries turning towards Russia and China, adds another layer of complexity to this situation. Moreover, acknowledging the limitations of French military size and public opinion, the report indicates that France may lack the independent military capacity to win the war against Russia. The projection from military experts and scholars suggests that France is likely to face challenges, leading to a further erosion of Francophone influence and potential economic repercussions for France and Europe. Understanding these complex issues is crucial, as they have far-reaching implications that extend beyond borders. Staying informed is imperative in our rapidly changing world. So we encourage you to engage with us, ask questions, and share your thoughts. In conclusion, this multifaceted analysis underscores the intricate motivations driving France's decision to deploy soldiers in Ukraine. It reveals a delicate balance between geopolitical strategy, historical influence, and economic interests, with potential far-reaching consequences for the French Empire. We hope you enjoy the news, and once again, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share our news. If you're watching on Facebook or another platform, please follow us and share this reliable news source. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.